morning and welcome. My name is Chris Shelton, coming to you from San Jose, California, the heart of Silicon Valley, with your DIY home remedies guide to health, happiness, and healing transformations. So today what I thought we'd discuss is something that plagues millions of people around the world, especially here in the US, which is back pain. So I thought I'd wear my silk pajamas and do Tai Chi for back pain. Now, as this month goes on here, pay attention, because we are going to be doing more videos on back problems because of all the diseases or dysfunctions that I see in my clinical practice. Back issues are probably the #1 thing, and this includes lumbar stenosis, sciatica, hip and groin pain, bulging or ruptured disc. So this is something that plagues a lot of people, and I thought that we should look at some very simple Tai Chi movements in order to help to stimulate what is known as the belt acupuncture meridian that wraps around the body to stimulate the kidneys and the lower lumbar. All right, so what's going to happen is that we're going to start off with our feet out about shoulders width apart. Our knees are slightly bent, and because I'm talking, obviously I can't place the tip of the tongue to the roof of the mouth behind the teeth, but if you're watching at home or at work, go ahead and place the tip of the tongue on the roof of the mouth behind the teeth as if saying the letter N. Okay, the breath is going to be in and out through the nose. Now, one of the things that people will ask me is that, Chris, what is the difference between Qigong and Tai Chi? Well, Qigong is actually the foundation of Tai Chi and is also the foundation of acupuncture and Chinese medicine. So Tai Chi, what a lot of people don't realize, is a form of Kung Fu. It's actually a form of what they call as an internal martial art. And all the gentle moving techniques that are found in Tai Chi are actually fighting applications. And what happens is that by doing those gentle movements, having proper mind intent and breath focus and proper structure, you're then able to listen to your own body. So then when you use it in competition, then you're able to listen better to and understand your opponent. But for the sake of doing this video, me teaching Tai Chi, I teach it for the health and not the martial art component, even though I used to compete with Tai Chi as a martial art. And the style of Tai Chi that I train is under my Sifu, Tony Wong, who and our grandmaster, who passed away unfortunately a few years ago, Grandmaster Chen Qingzhou. It's a traditional Chen style Tai Chi Chuan. There's still a Chen village in China where they train the Tai Chi like a full-time job. Okay, so one of the things with lower lumbar and back problems, especially during the winter months, because the kidneys control the lower back, and the kidneys right now, when it's cold outside, are actually affected and harmed by the cold temperature. So what are some of the things that we could do in order to stimulate the kidneys and also to stimulate this belt acupuncture meridian? And where is the belt acupuncture meridian? Well, it starts here at the Ming Men. Well, it comes around from the Ming Men in between the kidneys, and it actually drops down over the pubic bone. And this encompasses all the yin and yang acupuncture meridians of the legs. So it's like a belt. If this belt channel gets too tight, guess what? Then the energy flow going down to the feet and through the knees actually gets affected. In fact, knee problems and things like drop leg syndrome, which is a very hard thing to cure in Western medicine. What else? Plantar fasciitis is something else that is also affected as a result of this belt acupuncture meridian becoming way too tight. So what can we do? So some of the simple practices or basic fundamental practices of Tai Chi is called silk reeling. And my Sifu has a whole DVD on silk reeling. And some of the things that we do with silk reeling is to warm up all the major joints of the body in order to prepare us to practice our Tai Chi. Actually, the silk reeling movements actually break down the different components of the Tai Chi form. Because when people say to me, Chris, you know, Tai Chi is just something that old people do in the park, I kind of laugh at them and say, well, it's actually much more difficult than what it appears. And Tai Chi is like a form of spiritual cultivation. Even after you learn the basic form, as you go deeper and deeper and deeper, more begins to unfold to you. So one of the very basic practices that we're going to begin with is called wrapping the waist. And what's going to happen is that I'm going to go ahead and wrap the waist here. I'm going to turn around so I can show what's happening in the back. But what I'm doing here is I'm actually stimulating the kidneys. My sacrum is tucked underneath, pressing back that Ming Men, which is also referred to as the gate of fire. And notice how I'm using my legs to shift back and forth. Ash, Ash, come here, Ash. Come here, Ash. Come here, Ash. Ash, hi, kitty kitties. You want to do wrapping the waist with Dad? Hi, baby. wrapping the waist. Okay, so I'm just gently shifting my weight back and forth. Got a brief visit from my furry little friend, Ash. You could maybe hear meowing in the background. Anyways, I'm wrapping the waist, stimulating the kidneys. I'm shifting my weight back and forth, which also helps to pump the blood up to the chest, up to the heart. And the hand in the front actually could tap the sides of the body, stimulate that liver and that gallbladder, that stomach and pancreas and spleen. Okay, so you can do that for as long as you want, whatever feels good to you. And then we're going to come back to the middle. Now the difference with, instead of pulling down the heavens, with Tai Chi what we do is we want to stimulate the three centers of the body, also referred to as the three dantians. So what's going to happen is that we're going to cup the hands because we want to grab the energy from the space around us, pulling it into the third eye and then guiding this energy down to our lower energy sphere. So we're going to inhale, bark like a dog, exhale, inhale, and exhale. Inhale and exhale. Okay, so the next practice that we're going to go ahead and do is we're going to go ahead and rotate the waist. Okay, now what I want you to do is I want you to place your hands on your lower abdomen. So instead of just rotating, so we're going to start off with big exaggerated circles first. But eventually what I want you to be able to do is I want you to be able to do smaller, more refined circles. So you're going to place the hands over the lower abdomen, over the lower dantian, and we're going to imagine this pearl, this ball, that's rotating around like this. So as I'm circling my hips here, open up the hips, open up the inguinal cavity, I'm going to imagine that this ball comes around to the navel, to the back to the kidneys, back around to the navel again. So here, imagining I'm closing the eyes. You could actually move the hand slightly too. And imagining this pearl or this ball rotating around. Because what's interesting, if you start to practice this, not only does it help to strengthen the kidneys and the lower lumbar, when you practice Tai Chi, actually as you do a movement, the movement is the movement stems from this lower dantian. So the movement happens in the lower dantian and then it exhibits itself through the hands, through the posture. Okay, so I'm going to rotate and then I want to go opposite. I want to go the opposite direction. So again, rotating around. Coming around, helping to loosen up that lower lumbar and going nice and slow if you like to. I feel like I should be playing some Barry White music in the background. All right, so from here, I'm going to come this way. And then from there, what's going to happen is then I'm going to roll up and then down. Actually, let's start off going up the spine, going through the body to the yellow court region, which is at the xiphoid process at the end of the sternum, and then back down to the perineum. So once again, imagining this ball, now circulating this way first, and then what's going to happen is then we're going to go in the opposite direction. So I'm going to come up and down. So imagining this ball, my lower dantian, moving up the spine, going through the body, coming forward to the xiphoid process, the yellow court region, back down. Maybe not Barry White, maybe some Marvin Gaye. It's coming around. So I'm rotating, focusing on this dantian, circulating up and down. Okay. And then from here, I'm going to go in the opposite direction. Now I'm going to reverse. So from the perineum up the conception channel, through the xiphoid process, back down through the Ming Men and back around again. So here, coming around. So now imagine this ball coming up. And again, using the hands, you could actually use the hands to help to guide this white pearl or this dantian. And one of the misconceptions is that those dantian is just fixed in one location, and it's actually not. See, people that are really good at practicing Tai Chi, like my Sifu, for example, if you place your hands on his lower dantian, on his abdomen, he could actually throw you, which is quite fascinating. Oh, kitty, kitty, kitty. So coming around.
You want to rotate your dantian too? Ash, do you want to rotate your dantian? Oh. Come here. Come here.
So rotating around, okay? So then the next direction is I'm going to go around. So from the flanks of the body, I'm going to go around. So I'm going to imagine that this dantian goes to the perineum, to the flanks, up to the floating ribs, back around to the xiphoid process, to the free floating ribs on the opposite side, and back around. And then once again, I'm going to imagine this dantian moving the opposite way. Once again, using the hands to rotate it, but also using the body as well too. So I'm going to come around. So I'm imagining, I'm rotating, and moving this dantian. I'm feeling it come up and around, circling around. So maybe put on some Sade music. Rotate. Rotate, okay. And then I'm going to go the opposite direction, rotating and rotating around. Once again, use those hands to help to guide the movement of this dantian. But really what I'm doing here is I'm gently elongating the spine. I'm gently opening up the hips and the muscles and the inguinal cavity. Okay, and again, you can do this as much as you want to, whatever feels good for you, okay? And then coming back, I'm gonna pull in the energy to the third eye again, 3 times inhale, and exhale, guiding that chi down to the lower dantian. Once again, cup the hands. If you're outside, grab the energy from the trees, the sky, exhale, moving down, inhale, and then exhale, okay. All right, so this last practice that I want to do here is a very gentle and subtle practice, and it looks like nothing's really happening just from the outside, but internally what we're trying to do is that we're imagining as we gently shake here that from the waist down is pulling down into the earth, and then from the waist up is pulling towards the heavens. So I'm gently creating space in between the disc, in between the vertebra of the spine. This is another great silk wheeling practice. Have the feet out, shoulders width apart, and I'm going to start shaking. Come up off the balls of the feet and relax. But even though I'm coming up on the balls of the feet slightly, I'm imagining from the trunk that there's a weight actually pulling me down into the earth, and then from the bottom way here, from the very top, is pulling me towards the sky, helping to gently create this space between the vertebra to relieve pressure off the disc, in particular the lower lumbar. So I'm going to gently shake. Again, imagine from the waist down going to the earth, from the waist up pulling up towards the heavens. Here, shake. Again. Kind of like you're a willow blowing in the wind. Shaking, elongating. 2 more times. Last one. And then once again, we're going to complete the practice by pulling the energy back into our lower energy sphere, which is referred to as the lower dantian, which is also one of the 7 chakras. Okay. Inhale and exhale. All right, so there you go. I'll give you 3 simple practices that are very gentle and easy to do to open up your what is referred to in Chinese medicine as your belt acupuncture meridian. These practices are called silk reeling, which are the foundations of traditional Chen style Tai Chi Chuan. And these simple practices are easy to do. You can do them from a seated position as well. And if you notice, I didn't do any bending over practices. There are some silk reeling practices where you do bend to stretch the spine, but if you have lower lumbar issues, it may be very challenging for you to do that. So I thought I'd put together 3 simple practices that anybody could do that can gently help to open up this area and to stimulate this belt acupuncture meridian and the acupuncture kidneys. Over the last 18 years of being in clinical practice, I've helped thousands of people around the world alleviate their issues with back problems, where other practitioners or doctors have said, you know, you have lumbar stenosis, you're never going to play basketball again, or you're never going to go back to your regular hobbies again. My belief structure is that anything is fixable and is attainable. And from some of these simple practices that I'm showing you today are simple practices that I give to my clients as we're working through the process for their body to heal. And once again, covering all different types of back issues, from lumbar stenosis, SI joint problems, sciatic pain, blown or ruptured or bulging discs. What else is there? Knee problems, certain types of knee problems. A lot of ankle problems actually stems from this from this belt region here. Plantar fasciitis is another thing that stems from this here. Drop leg syndrome, which is a very severe syndrome that is hard to cure in Western medicine. Luckily, in my clinical practice, we've been able to help clients regain full mobility of their legs and also reverse the side effects of drop leg syndrome, which is atrophy. So if you'd like more information, please subscribe to this YouTube channel on the link below. Please leave us your comments. I'd love to hear from you. I'd love to hear what you have to say and any questions or anything that you'd like for me to discuss. Thank you once again for joining us. My name is Chris Shelton, coming to you from a beautiful, wet and cold day in San Jose, California. Until next time, I will chi you later.